So we got this video out of Australia, I think it is, of this Marxist conference, and these people are a little bit too excited to be Marxist. I don't know, and I think I saw. You'll see how crazy it is. Just check this video out.
My favourite thing about Marxism is learning about all the inspiring struggles that people and workers all over the world, people fighting back, resisting the system, asking for more than what the bosses are giving you.
There's so many wonderful people to talk about radical politics
Pause it real
with.
quick. I think the irony of what she said, the beauty of Marxism is that the employees are coming out and demanding more from their bosses. That I hope you guys know the irony of that. Under communism, there is no employees begging their bosses for more money because their bosses aren't going to have any money to give them. Just saying. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
The fact that there's so much energy and passion in all of
Look
the
at all
rooms.
those masks.
I came to Marxism because I'm a socialist
Wait,
myself.
Pause it. Is this 2024? Is this Marxism Conference 2024? Oh my goodness. Did you see all those masks? Go back. Go back in that room. Sorry. For you guys who are listening, there's a Marxist conference, and they have it every year. This is 2024, and they have masks on.
The fact that there's so much
let me see
energy
this.
and
Yeah, go ahead.
passion in all of the rooms.
I came to Marxism
Look
because
at
I'm a
this.
socialist myself, and I think it's really important for people with similar politics to get together and discuss different debates and ideas, and there's no bigger or better place to do it than Marxism.
The
you
international speakers that come, you cannot miss the opportunity. On top of that, not just building
It's a
education,
must-miss
but
event.
make
It's a must-miss event, my friends. That's what he meant to say. That's what he meant to say. Go ahead, Micah. Sorry.
networks for organization in the future to have a real impact on changing the world.
I've learned more over this weekend in Melbourne than I've learned in an entire year of my classes back in Canberra.
It's a great weekend. There's some things that will stay with me for a very long time.
The best part, I think, has just been the discussions in the sessions, actually. There's been quite a lot
Look
of
at the
debate
masks.
and different ideas. So it's not just passively being lectured to, but there's people actively contributing, and I've really enjoyed that.
I'm a revolutionary Marxist, and there's no other place I'd want to spend my Easter weekend than amongst, other comrades, other revolutionaries, chatting politics.
After coming here, it's kind of solidified to me that change really doesn't come from above. It's not going to come from the Elon Musks of the world. It's going to come from the people that already know that climate change is an
Pause
issue.
it real quick. Actually, that's actually not true. Despite what most people say, what most people think, most of the culture really it downstreams from the very top. Despite what most people say no, it's the people that changes the culture and the not actually not really. Notice how the masses, the sheep, follow who all the leaders are. Notice how abortion was normalized after Roe v. Wade was passed as a whatever it was. The Supreme Court case of Roe v. Wade happened, right? And then so notice how abortion became more normalized, became more like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. Where now, I guarantee if you pass an abolitionist bill, if you just pass a bill, criminalize abortion from the moment of conception, no exceptions, and you just fast forward to 50 years from now, abortion would not be the norm. It would be, and most people would be pro-life. Most people would be anti-abortion because ultimately culture is the downstream of politics. I believe that. A lot of people may disagree with me on that. That's okay. But I truly believe if you made the laws right, people would just get in line. And that's happened all throughout history, mostly. But still, and America is this quote-unquote social experiment where, you're trying a new government system of a democratic republic and stuff like that. But ultimately, I do believe that, and it's not just abortion, it's anything. If the right laws are passed, the right people are in power, people will fall in line and culture will get better. I don't believe that it starts from the homeless man on the street or from the very bottom up. I believe it starts from the top down. And, people may disagree with me on that. So I think that's like a completely wrong thing that he just said. Just completely wrong. And, of course, a Marxist believes that because Marxism ultimately or this is what they say, but they care about the single employer, or not employer, employee, right? So they care about that bottom guy. At least that's what they think they're doing, but really they're taking away rights from that bottom guy. And so of course they're going to believe that really culture comes from the bottom up, and that's not true. It's never been true really in any society. So anyway, keep going.
It's going to come from the working class.
No, it's not.
I'm here right now because the world under capitalism is completely shit. The climate crisis is threatening to completely destroy.
So the world under capitalism is completely blank, right? She's talking to the camera. She's got some clothes. She's got some nice clothes on. I'm sure she has an iPhone in her pocket. And she's saying all that. She's living a terrible life, my friends, under capitalism. Her life is awful. She spent money to go to a conference, a Marxism conference, to talk about how terrible her government is. That gives her the right to speak about it. Oh, man, what a terrible capitalist society we live in. All right, sorry, go ahead.
The planet that we rely on to survive. We're in danger of seeing world.
Why do they keep talking about climate change? What does climate change have to do with? Oh, okay. Well, I can see how that ties into capitalism, and they can blame the systems and stuff like that. But is that really their hill? Is that their new like big shtick? Is capitalism and climate change? Like that's really that's the devil? Really? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Keep it going.
World War III within the next 100 years, and that's not the kind of world that I want to live in, and I don't think that anyone else is going to help us change things. So if you want to get involved and be an activist, Marxism Conference is for you, and it's fucking fantastic to meet other people who actually care about changing the world.
Australia's biggest Marxism Conference of 2024, brought to you by idiots, essentially. That's insane. That's funny. And people are out here like it's actually like it's a thing, like to be a Marxist now on college campuses, as a senior at Auburn, it really is a thing. Like people are proud of it, and I guess their big thing now is no longer really other issues. It's mainly just climate change. And I really did not think climate change would be that issue, but it is ultimately. And that's just weird, bro. But I think the only climate change that we ultimately do have to worry about is when Jesus comes back and burns this whole sucker up. That's the real climate change. That's the real high increased temperatures right there. Is when this whole thing gets it gets tossed to the lake of fire. That's the real climate change. And that's not really a climate change, because it's more short term than long term, but it's gonna happen pretty fast. But I'll let if that's the hill they want to die on, that's okay. I'm just curious of what system is best for a person who genuinely cares about the environment. And I believe that's capitalism. Capitalism offers you things like conservation, right? So as a capitalist, as a free market person, there is an incentive to take care of the environment, because if you want your land to prosper, if you want your country to prosper, if you want your entrepreneurs to do well, if you want businesses to do well, that does require a good environment. That's an incentive to do so. Under Marxism, everyone makes this is really what it is. Everyone makes the same amount of money. You own nothing and you're happy. Okay? There is zero incentive in that system for any equality. There's no incentive in that system for any morality. There's no incentive in that system to take care of the environment, because who cares? We don't own it anyway. But if you're a capitalist, if you're a free market person, most of us probably own land. Most of the land that's out there is probably privately owned, and there's an incentive to take care of that, because ultimately, if that land messes up or there's something goes wrong with your land, that's your behind. Okay, and ultimately, that's how a lot of these people survive. Farmers, these are hunters, gatherers. These are people that take care of our society. And so, ultimately, capitalism, free market capitalism, is the best system for conservation, for forests, for climate change, all that stuff. You should be anti-Marxist if you're super big on climate change. And again, I'm not really super big on climate change. I don't really care. I know it's going to happen. This Earth's going to blow up anyway, but not the way they think it is. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm watching for that. I don't really care about our temperatures going up a degree every 175 years, which is probably not a real statistic. I just made that up, but you get the point. So yeah. Anyway, that's my reaction to that whole thing. If you're a Marxist, I just ask why. Like, that's your belief, bro. You spend your time reading Karl Marx. Fun fact about Karl Marx, but a lot of you guys are social justice warriors, by the way. Why don't you read some about what Karl Marx thought about, your fellow black neighbor? Okay, why don't you read about what Karl Marx really thought about some of these minorities, and do some research and come back to me whether or not you're still a social justice warrior or a Marxist, because you can't be both, or you can be a hypocrite. Most of them are. So anyway, that'll be it for that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Man, anyway, cut it off. I'm done.